What's going on, everybody? It's Childish back at it again, coming at you with another health and wellness video. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. Today's video, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be talking about a couple of things that I'm going to be doing in the month of January, transitioning myself into my new plan here. And in addition to that, we're going to go ahead and drop some of those tips, some of those things that I've learned along the way to help myself get from point A to point B as smooth as possible. Now, before we get into that though, okay, got to drop that friendly disclaimer. Okay, as you guys know, I am not a doctor. I am not a healthcare professional. So if you guys are looking to jump into some kind of health and fitness plan or some kind of a journey, always seek the help of your healthcare professional before you get started into any kind of plan. Now, the first tip that we got for you when it comes to transitioning into your plan is going to be to start slow. Now, I know that some of the people out there are going to be like, what? Start slow? What are you talking about? Like, I'm ready to jump into this right now. Like, the reality of this is, guys, is that when you're making any kind of serious life change, especially something that has food involved in it, for instance, it could be very stressful. It could be overwhelming. It can be a lot to take in at the very start here. So, figuring out your specific plan and trying to take the time necessary to get yourself ready for that physically, mentally, emotionally prepared for that is very, very important. And everybody's different. Some people that might take as little as 1 week, some people that might take as much as 2 to 4 weeks. And what I want to tell you guys is that regardless if it takes you a long time or a short time, whatever time you need to be successful in this plan is important, right? The one question that I constantly get from a lot of people out there that are looking for advice is, what is the best diet for you? Simply put, the best diet for you is the one that you adhere to. So if that means you need a little bit more time to get ready and do your thing, that's exactly what I want you to do. Tip number 2 is going to be focusing on alternatives rather than restrictions. So as you guys know, there's a ton of fad diets out there focusing on low fat, low carb, or eating in a specific amount of window. And believe it or not, I've tried a couple of them and I think a lot of them are successful. But the reality of it is, if you're watching this video, chances are you are probably a beginner and you're, jumping into this kind of thing for the first time, and making any kind of a drastic change, especially without knowing, how many calories you're taking in or how much water you can do, and all these different, factors that key into this process can really damper, the progress that you're looking to do moving forward here. So for some of you guys out there that are beginners that are looking to jump into this, I highly encourage you to just focus on some healthy alternatives, things that you could do to substitute what you're already doing right now, so that you could basically kind of transition yourself into that plan that you're looking to do, right? And so, for example, what I want to throw out here, I think this is one of the best examples that I've had in the past. I've been working with a couple of people over the past few years here that started out, at a very, very high amount of weight, something like 250, 275, 300 pounds here. And believe it or not, they got very scared into doing this plan here because they were worried about, jumping into it super hard and just basically not having anything to work with. Now, I told them, hey, we're going to spend the next few weeks here starting to, cycle out some of those foods that are currently in our kitchen, currently in our cabinets, and, swapping them out for healthier choices. But in that process there, I want you to take maybe 1 to 2 things that you currently do right now and finding some healthy alternatives to do. And I think one of the biggest things that I focused on was empty calories, focusing on drinks, especially drinks that basically have no kind of nutritional value outside of the sugar, if you're liking that. But what they did was they basically, if they were consuming, a can of pop a day, 2 cans of pop a day, we cut it in half for that day or for that week, and just, kind of let that part kind of cruise on through until we get ready to start the main part of the fitness journey. And funny enough, before we even got jumped into, getting into the whole fitness assessment and getting the weight down, the measurements and all that, we found out that about 3 weeks into the plan, we were already 12 pounds down because we simply cut out a very, very high amount of calorie, content that they were eating in there. And again, they didn't feel, it didn't like hit them as hard as they thought they would because of the fact that it was something super simple. It was something that they can manage. It wasn't anything too crazy, jumping into this thing right at the beginning. So next tip that I got for you has to be my favorite tip out of them all. This one here, as simple as it sounds, is literally got to be the best thing that you can pick up in this video, okay? Tip number 3 is simply just getting back into the kitchen and cooking your own meals. I know, simple concept. It's crazy, right? And the thing that I get back from people is, Childish, don't you know it's 2021 right now? It's like there's so many different restaurants out there that you could take advantage of that have all these healthy alternatives. But hey, the reality of it is that if we need to look long term, we need to think about all the things that we need to do in order to successfully complete this plan that we're trying to do. We need to think about 2 things. One is time and one is money. And while all these healthy restaurants that have all these alternatives for you may save yourself in a little bit of time, it's not going to save you on money. So that's why I encourage you guys to get back in the kitchen, do a little bit of research as far as what you can do to prepare a couple of meals throughout the week. And of course, down the road, doing what you got to do to food prep for a couple of meals or maybe even the meals for the week will save you a ton of time and a ton of money. Now, remember earlier in the video, I talked about an example of a client that I had in the past that basically cut out their sugary pops and lost, a ton of weight there, right? Well, funny enough, this same particular client, one of the transitions that they had, moving from week 2 to week 3 was to simply just start making her lunch meals every single day. Now, I didn't change anything about her breakfast. I didn't change anything about her dinner. I literally just focused on the thing that, basically dampers her progress the most, which is not having anything prepared for that lunch hour, which motivates her to leave the work, go to some restaurant and pick up whatever she's craving, right? If you take the time to make those small adjustments on the fly, I highly believe that you will be able to see some adjustments, see some changes down the road, and this will just be that much more motivation to keep you going, keep you pushing forward in order to reach your fitness goal. Last but not least, we got tip number 4, which is simply finding yourself a support group. So like we said in the beginning of the video, being able to jump into something like this here can be super overwhelming, super stressful, and especially now, being in the pandemic like we are, it can be a lot to take in here. So, being able to connect with other people that are as passionate about health and fitness just as much as you are can definitely be that little bit of motivation that you need to keep on pushing through. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I highly encourage you to do so. In the YouTube description down below, we have a Discord link for you to join my Discord and jump into the health and fitness channel so that you can connect with other people and get some tips and tricks that can help you reach your goals that much quicker. Okay. So again, guys, I just want to leave it at that. I know there's a lot of things that I want to touch on, but I want to save it for future videos. I want to try to keep these short and sweet if I can, so I don't take up too much of your time and too much of your money. I guess that doesn't work. Okay, we'll just say too much of your time. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Once again, if you guys like this content, if you guys like what you see and you want to see more, do me a favor, show your support, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys all in the next one. Take care.